Hello, poetry lovers. This is Blaster Al Ackerman. How many of you have ever eaten a robin? Here's a poem that's a favorite of mine and I hope of yours. It's called Death and the White Sea. Death and the White Sea, the 500-pound man on the bus, the 500-pounder meat. Hello, poetry lovers. This is Blaster Al Ackerman. You know, if you're feeling really hungover like my friend Ian, who's bleeding from his nose in the control room, then you might do well to think about taking some fast-acting sal hepatica, for this heavenly nostrum combines the action of Alka-Seltzer and a violent-acting laxative. Here's a poem I recently completed that I call The Story of Homesteading. The story of homesteading. Bereft of soap, try to understand his longing, filling his pockets by the railroad tracks, going along, picking things up. By and by invents a fan-tod for company. In other words, a wraith. It gurgles and eats paper in the Scoodler dialect. There's trouble when it seems to hang around leering up at the boxcars. Frankly, we don't know what to expect. Luckily, a family comes along that said, "What a build! Why, you're like our Fred who was put away." And with sincere, brimming eyes went on to beseech it, saying, You're the only one can help. You must enter the madhouse and find out what's up with Fred." So it did, and once inside was told, You're the only one can help. You must enter the madhouse and find out what's up, Fred." Caught in this interesting situation, things look different. And a carved soaped bust of Willie Sutton, with a few things added, such as hairpins and corn nuts, can seem to positively approach godhood with its promise of lather your crank, lather your handle. As I said before, the story of homesteading. Hello, poetry lovers and degenerates. This is Blaster Al Ackerman, and I wonder how many of you are sold on arm sucking. You know, a very great poet named John M. Bennett recently ended one of his poems with the line, "Follow crotch onion." And this inspired me to such an extent that I wrote a poem about it. It's a lovely thing, and I call it Follow Crotch Onion. Crotch onion is a convenient ventriloquist dummy, nothing more. Each with a cover story similar to Crotch Onion's posed as AWOL from the fictitious 137 Engineer Battalion. Only the funny thing was that, except for Crotch Onion, who'll help me on it? Such as the life is, such is the form assumed by Crotch Onion. I think of strands of seaweed all over the listener, and to thicken the plot, study being interrupted in the middle of being totally opposed to this kind of sloppy non-intent, like they say, by Crotch Onion, who somehow makes it all worthwhile, though I should think talking earnestly to some invisible chap so that you could not be heard is sound code defense. Them words for them, a displacement that leaves a gap where Crotch Onion shops. When my son was 8 or 9, I watched him make a crayon drawing of a Crotch Onion tournament. Whose Crotch Onion was it but those burning with master plans? In fact, Crotch Onion can't wait for old moralities like all the rest of you, as you, which creeping of self bright for roots way is made slower than damn all. And when excited cries seem to reach us from below the Crotch Onion, we catch the drift you're feeding some chickens on a dime to turn on, confound it. But other Hitchcock men blessed Molly for her beautifully timed toss with the Crotch Onion. Knocked cold by a Crotch Onion requires certain somnambulance, as sometimes in dreams you satisfy no one bunch, dual mullion. Though the whole plant was no larger than one of my fingers, working nights at a bread company in Albuquerque had me seeing crotch onions or Wardley parking lot immortals under ballpark lights. Squinting in one end of a crotch onion, Papa John steered the boats improperly. In the old days, a crotch onion cost the same as a Mallow Dibs cup, remember? But this, to the author of Crotch Onions Be Trippin', is not enough. Spring, summer, fall, crotch onion. Time to change the calendar and recognize impossibility of errorless work.